Hello and welcome to the crossover guide from Logic to Pro Tools. Today we take a look at the different limiters Logic and Pro Tool provides us. Let's take a look at the limiters. You have the adaptive limiter and the limiter. There is not much parameters and knobs to tweak around with. Let's play the track and gain a little to make the track louder. You can see that the limiter is working by looking at the gain reduction. The higher it reaches, the more it compresses, and you can clearly hear the sound that's being distorted. Let's put the output level to -0.3 to make sure it won't peak. Let's have a look at the Pro Tools limiter, Maxim. Let's play the track. Set the threshold to a lower value to gain the output level. Gaining the output level will have the same impact as the Logic limiter, but it sounds like the Maxim limiter distorts the sound even more when it's pushed to the limit. You can see that the track peaks even when the limiter is on. That is why we put the ceiling to -0.3. Doing that makes us sure that it won't clip in at any part of the track. You can see we also have an input meter and an output meter, which the Logic limiter does not have, unless you choose to use an adaptive limiter. You can see that the adaptive limiter has an input and an output meter, but you won't get the gain reduction meter as you do with the limiter. So you have to either choose the adaptive limiter or the limiter. Both the Logic limiter and the Pro Tools limiter does their job well, making the track louder, but it is when both of them reach a higher level, the sound tend to get distorted and you will lose information and dynamic in the track. The Logic limiter seems to have a higher threshold before it starts distorting the sound. There is a lot of limiters out there that does the job much better than the standard limiters that comes with Logic and Pro Tools. That said, you don't want to end up in a loudness war and making tracks with no dynamic.